Lainara, kindly answer the attendance to ang Google Classroom, ha?
Okay. Yes, sir. Morning, sir.
Morning. Okay, so are you ready for today's lecture? Can I start now? Can you see my presentation? Madunggan akong voice?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Nice, nice. So I hope you are sitting comfortably, ha. We'll be talking about practical applications also sa to ang contracts for our engineering practice. Okay, so I hope you find this one interesting. All right. So first, we still refer to our civil code, no? In Article 1305, a contract is a meeting of minds between two persons whereby one binds himself with respect to the other to give something or maybe to render some service. All right. In 1306, contracting parties may establish such stipulations, clauses, terms, conditions as they may deem convenient, provided that they are not contrary to law, moral, good customs, public order, or public policy. We have discussed this in our last meeting already, okay, in the basics. Next, we have 1308, contract must bind both contracting parties. Its validity or compliance cannot be left to the will of one of them. All right, so okay, pretty self-explanatory gyapon pa, no? Next, we have 1317. No one may contract in the name of another without being authorized by the latter or unless he has by law a right to represent him. Okay, so as a civil engineer, no, if you are kung ikaw if the other party is your client, you have to make sure that the one you are going into contract with is the one authorized good, no? Not just a representative. Basin dili mo mabayaran or na ay other issues arising from that okay, other problems that might arise. Okay. Ikaw sad a civil engineer, as a professional, I hope that you do not represent someone for your own benefit. No, dili sad ka magpataka-taka og istorya nga ako representative sa isa ka dakong company, no? Gusto ko mo go into business with you. I hope dili sad ka mara siya og fraud in your part na to represent other entity without their authorization. Okay. A contract entered into in the name of another by one who has no authority or legal representation or has acted beyond his powers shall be unenforceable unless it is ratified expressly or impliedly by the person on whose behalf it has been executed before it is revoked by the other contracting party. So in times na you entered into a contract with a person who is not authorized, who is unauthorized, no, then pwede na siya nga ma-revoke ang contract na inyong gibuhat. Or kung ikaw nag-aka beyond your power to represent an entity, then pwede gyapon ma-revoke ang contract or ma-cancel ang contract unless pwede ninyo you can, what do we call this, you can find a compromise para ma-enforce ang inyong ma-enforce ng contract that was established before. Okay. Next, essential requisites for a contract. First, there has to be a consent of the contracting parties. No, as mentioned earlier, whoever is authorized should have the consent or should be the one to enter into a contract. Next is the object certain, which is the subject matter of the contract. Kung unsa inyong mga gisabutan, the agreements, the terms of the contract, and whatever. No, we'll have an example of contract later. Next is the cause of the obligation, which is established. Very important also. What causes, or what is the where's the contract arise from? No, why is there a need for that said contract? Okay, let me see. Elements of contract. You have two or more competent contracting parties. They must be capacitated, meaning ito siya. Ito na mention before, no? Capacitated, meaning they have the capacity to enter into a contract. They are competent. At the same time, they have their consent. Mutual agreement. There has to be a meeting of minds by all parties to the contract. Valuable consideration or cost, something equivalent given or done for the act or promise to give, to do or not to do something of value. Last, obligation of the parties must not be contrary to law, morals, and good customs and public policy. Must be set forth according to form and executed in the manner prescribed by law. Okay. So here is an example of a contract, no? Show you. All right, can you see this one? Can you see this one? Okay. So ito na discuss kanina. Requisites. No, first requisites. First, we have sa first part niya, we have this two parties. First is the provincial government of Misamis Oriental. Let's call that here PGMO. Let's refer to that as PGMO. And we have MJOS construction. Let's refer to that as MJOS. No. So during a contract agreement, in this example, we have the PGMO and MJOS, two competent contracting parties gusto mo sulod into contract. Okay. Next nga requisite for a contract is we have the cause of the obligation and the object certain, which is the subject matter of the contract. So first, the PGMO daw wants to construct the halfway house police compound San Martin, because it is under naka-inline na siya for purchase daan, nakabutang unsa nga purchase number and dated unsa nga purchase gusto i-purchase sa PGMO. So murag in this contract, the cause of the obligation is the desire of the PGMO to construct a halfway house. No, at the same time, they want PGMO also wants MJOS to construct the said project. Okay, and all right. So next is in this contract also, the contract amount is stated to be for 4,996,000, no, 788 and 58 cents. All right. So, kana. And then next, we have elements, no? The elements of the contract. We have the competent contracting parties, the mutual agreement, valuable consideration. All right. So, kani. Makabutang po din diri the agreement between the two parties. This agreement, for this agreement, there has to be a meeting of minds for the two contracting parties. No? First is in this agreement, words and expressions shall have the same meanings as are respectively assigned to them in the conditions of the contract referred to. No, nakabutang po dari in this contract. This is a government contract. So this contract, for this type of contract, the listed documents are also parts of this contract. We have the drawings, no, kung construction, the drawings, the specifications, invitation to bid, instructions to bidders, bid data sheet, bid bulletin, eligibility requirements, performance security, notice of award, and other contract documents that may be required by existing laws or entity. All right. For this contract, 2 pages lang siya. 2 pages na lang siya. Pero it has several, especially for governments, it has several na documents that you need to refer to also as part of the contract. Okay, so as a good civil engineer, you have to take a look, or you have to review each documents before going into the contract na, para wala dili ka ma-blindside and you are aware kung unsa gid imong ginasudlan. All right. So na discuss po in this contract that the PGMO is going to pay MJOS for all the services, okay, to execute the complete works, and if ever if there are defects, then MJOS would remedy everything, no? Okay. All right. So kana siya. Okay. So after that one, the two representatives, or the authorized representatives of the two parties is going to sign this contract. Now that's the second page. Then the witnesses will sign, and it will be notarized by a lawyer. Okay. Okay. So kana siya. I think you will encounter several types of contract, no? Kini siya medyo short lang ni siya, kay ang for construction, the documents gina-refer lang ta dito sa other attached documents, no? Pero siguro for different kind of business, siguro lahi na po dayon ang contract nga pwede ninyo ma-encounter. Although the elements and the requisites of the contract should not change. Mao lang gihapon. Okay, question so far? Okay. So that's it for the basics sa contracts. Now we are going to discuss kung unsa ang klase-klase nga contracts. We're going to discuss construction contracts, the different kind of construction contracts applicable to our practice. Naglag. Ano man eh? All right. Can you see this one? Can you see my presentation?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So for this subject, we're going to discuss at least 6 kind of construction contracts, no? Okay, we have the lump sum, the unit price, cost plus, turnkey, BOT, and subcontract. Naani nga mga type of contract familiar sa inyo, ha? The word or the name? Ever? Familiar with this type of contracts?
Wala, sir.
Wala pa. Okay, sige, atong tagsa-tagsaon, ha? But before we go to each type of contract, let us determine first what is the contractor's obligation for each construction contract. Now, sa tuan nga side, first is to do the work as defined in the contract documents within the contract time. And for the owner side, no, or pwede gyapon nga kita ang mahimong owner pohon, our obligation is to provide access to the site. Of course, kung kita ang owner sa isa ka property, dili gyapon pwede mosulod basta-basta lang ang contractor, no? Kinahanglan maghatag do sa tuang consent, and at the same time ato silang i-guide kung asa i-access, where to access the site, and to pay also the contractor according to the agreement and conditions of the contract. Okay. Then usahay na third party. Let's call that one the designer's obligation or the consultant's obligation. And if kung kita ang designer or kita ang consultant for the project, pwede ta, no, with the consent of the owner, we may act as the owner's representative or consultant also. So pwede ta mo ato sa construction project, if i-request ta, no, pwede po ta full-time nga mag-check yun sa ato ang project. Okay. Depende gapon sa between the agreements of the designer o sa ato ang client. Okay. Natures and characteristics of contract. No, to avoid conflicts, now let's discuss this one first. To avoid conflicts, the plans and specs should be complete. No, so kung ikaw ang contractor, check mo daan ang plans. Check mo daan ang plans kung na ba kay makita ang mga missing parts, ano, or na ba kay there's some parts that are not clear. Then you may raise them to the designer, to the client. No, so in the future, you should avoid conflict if the plans is complete and the specs is complete also. Okay, next. In case there is a provision, the owner may order any alteration or changes, but this should be written and the cost be agreed upon before the changes are affected. Okay. Are affected. Fudge. All right. So very important. Now, this is very important. Should there be any changes or alteration during the construction project, then before doing the said changes, then kinahanglan mag-agree mo balik, no? Agree mo balik sa inyo ang client nga, sir, inani ang costing ana, sir, inani ang time bago na tong timeline kung kanato ang buhaton, no? Kinahanglan ma-discuss din ang mga things. Dili lang diretsyo nga kung suguon ka sa client, diretso po dayon nimo sugton dayon sa last part na in the end when we're going to discuss na dayon all the changes in the end, no. Please don't do that. Now, the moment that there a change is ordered, then you negotiate na dayon the new terms for the said for the proposed changes or alteration during the project construction. Okay. Point here is we want to avoid conflict in the future. Now, we want to avoid conflict in the future with our client. So, and after negotiating the new terms, then it should be written down, signed by you and your client. Okay. Usually here in the Philippines, this causes conflict, no? Kaya sa client side, what the changes could be out of his budget, no? And sa imo po in the contractor side, of course, you need to get paid. You need to push the client to pay you for doing the said changes. So We just wanna avoid conflict, so we wanna establish things before before we do the job that we are ordered to do. Okay. Okay. My experience with this is usually as engineers, we're not always at the construction site. Then the owner would just order your workers to do the alterations. Okay, so what you need to do is really to ask your workers also that whatever the clients order or would like to change, then the worker should not do it immediately, and if there's something else that he can do for that day, then he should do that instead of making the changes. Para you just ask your worker to give you time to decide or to arrange first the agreements for that said changes. Usahay ang atong worker sila mo'y makapawala sa kapawala sa order sa atong things, no? Usahay mosugot lang sila diretso dayon without even knowing what could be the possible na mga possible na mga na. Okay. Next. Also, the contractor has full control of the work. Usually, is free to choose the methods and means to execute the work. No, so you should know that you have the full control of the work. Pero if your client or the consultant requested or ordered you to do something in a very specific way, then you should also consider. You should also hear them out. Siguro to make things clear, you should also, as an engineer, you should also give time sa inyo mga construction projects. Good. Dili lang pag maka-receive na mo construction project, sagda na dayon ninyo. Okay. So you should also give time to meet with your clients, although na award na sa imo ang project. Okay. So the owner has the right to stop the work if for these two things, no? He has the right to stop the work. So please don't argue with your client if you fail to do these things or these things are present sa imong job. First is if you fail to correct a defective work, then your client, syempre, maulit ni mong client, sige na kanya ignon nga to repair your defective work, but you continue to fail in correcting it, then your client might order you to stop working. And next is to persistently fail to supply necessary materials and equipment for the work. Okay, Anas, yeah. All right. Is this clear? Okay. And when worse comes to worse, no, the owner might terminate your contract if you have inadequate financial resources. No, kung makita sa imong client na wala na kay kwarta or ang imong gigamit the down payment made for the project has been redirected to other projects. Therefore, wala na kay ma-offer na monetary or financial resources for the project nga i-contract ka. Persistent refusal to get on the work, failure to pay subcontractors and laborers, and disregard of laws and regulation. So, okay. But everything has to be formalized, no? There has to be a letter informing you that your contract is terminated or you have to stop your work no, without those things, without a written consent, a letter, a signed document that you are to stop or you are being terminated, then you can, pwede pa nimo siya ma-bargain or pwede pa nimo na ma-arrange na you're not going to stop work. All right, so knowing these things, no, we should be able to avoid conflict with our client. Okay. Claro. Kana siya. The main point here is we want to avoid conflict with our client. And in order to do that, and we should be aware of the do's and don'ts also during a project. Okay, so kana siya. I have my experience for owner. I have an experience, no. The consultant would like me to stop my work, no, that was to erection of trusses. That is installation of trusses, installation of trusses. So the consultant wanted me to stop my work because I don't know what he was thinking. I think he was thinking that there were not enough support. There was no enough support for me to install the trusses. It was a long span truss, so medyo na dako og weight. But in my side, sa akong side dato, I thought everything was in order. Everything was in order. The supports were there. No, the consultant were not there. No, nalay kanang murag nalay nagsumbong sa iya nga gusto na mi mag-erect na mi og truss unya. Wala siya didto unya, murag gisumbong-sumbong lang dayon nga wala pa yung mga support na. Pero in my side, I was confident that all the supports were there and there would be no problem. It was a basketball court, man, no? So there were five trusses that need to be lifted, and I can, in my schedule, I can do that in around 5 days also. But the consultant would like to defer. Would like to postpone that after 1 month, no, for everything daw kuno to settle. Ako nga lang gusto mo siya 1 month. So what I did was I asked him for a written document, a signed document that he was ordering me to stop, but he failed to do it. He failed to give me a written document ordering me to stop. So after a week, the consultant called and he told me that the document is ready. No, he needed me na lang. He needed me to go to his office and pick up the document. Then I said na if I'm going to get the document, then you deliver it to me. No, I'm not going to your office to get the document ordering me to stop. You deliver it to my construction site. Then at the same time, your demand to stop work is useless because I've already installed all the 5 trusses. No, so murag wala na puno sa iyang kuan. Then I don't know unsa iyang gibuhat ato. Nawala naman ba siya. He stopped bothering me. Wala na siya napakita sa akong site. Murag na nalain na siya sa kuha, nagmahay sa kuha nga wala na ako siya gisunod. Wala na siya nedto sa akong site sa balik. So mga inana. So things kana mo gud. Murag i-consider mo gud imo nga imong delay o unsa ka confidence sa imong self nya na ay mga order to stop. So it's very good if you kabalo ka kung when to stop work, no, kung kanos ara ka pwede pa stop o kanos ana ay mga times nga mga gray area man no, anong imo mangoy pa stop. Okay. So mga nana. A point lang in knowing these things is para dili ka mahadlok kung asa ka dapat mo stand sa imong project. Okay? Klaro ba? Are you still with me? Okay pa mo dara?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
For those who have good internet connection, kindly turn on your camera para dili lang ko mura ko guys to your song self. Please. Amigo bitaw ta. Huli mo sa camera ko. Para sa mga bata. Sige. Tonight, I have si Kyle. Si Kyle. Hello, Kyle.
Hi,
On lagi mo sa
sir.
inyong camera. Very good. Para mag-gauge po na ako mag-gauge po na itong conversation. Lisod kayo magsige istorya dili na ako matanan yung naulit na ba mo sa ko or okay pa ba ko diya. Sige na magtabi dugay boring na mga ni si sir. Na mga nana ba? Okay. Sometimes, very good. Yeah, happy kay ko. Gwapo man kay mo gwapo day. Yan ka makakita mga inani. Ano? So sometimes, kung mahuman na atong project earlier, pwede ta asay tagaan sa mga bosses o kanang bonus. Ano? Pero dili necessary. Pero kung ikaw mismo ang construction owner, ikaw mismo ang boss sa imo ang own na construction, then finishing before the stipulated date and completion is already a bonus to you. No, meaningan na mara bitaw nagbudget ka sa imuang food hangtod sa Sunday, pero murag Thursday pa lang nakita nimo nga sobra man yapon ang imong gi-budget. So pwede murag Friday pa lang kabalo naka-save naman na kog dako. So in that case dayon pwede na natay option dayon to be generous to our workers, pwede ta manghatag gamay nga kanang pahalipay. Okay? Usually, imo lang na silang litsunan nimo mga workers, malipay naman na sila, tagaan din nimo tanduay, na mahubog lang na sila isa ka adlaw, okay na sa ilaha. And during Christmas po dayan, extra generous during December, mga inanak ang mga times, mga holidays. All right. Ako sa mo ang organization sa una, gatry lang mi nga makahatag mi og mga benefits, no, like SSS, PhilHealth, and Pag-ibig. Mahatag lang na namo very okay na kayo na as kanang bonus to our workers. And during those times then nga magpa-call ka og mga overtime, instead nga mag-finish at 5 p.m. around 8 p.m. na nimo sila ipo-off, no, tagaan lang nimo sila og kanang allowance for meal allowance, malipay naman na sila. And of course, corresponding na overtime fees kaya po. Malipay na sila. Okay? And in most cases, especially with government projects, sa private pod, labi na kung mga gahigulo, mga consultant pod, ipabayaron ka og liquidated damages if you are unable to finish the project on time. So liquidated damages is mauni ang imuhang baya. Just think of it as if ang client anang project completion time dapat mag-profit na unta siya kay naka-utilize na sa sayahang building or sayahang structure. Pero ikaw kay medyo banga man kagamay, wala nimo na abot to iyahang time. So instead nga mag-profit siya, dili pa siya ga-profit ato mga days nga dapat maka-operate na siya. So ikaw mandated ka kung naa sa inyong contract to pay these liquidated damages. So mag-defer na siya. Usually, this is just a All right. Sorry, I lost my internet connection. No?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Okay, I'm back. Okay. So kana. So we now go to the specific types of construction contract now. First, we have lump sum contract. We have a lump sum contract, and for this kind of contract, sabot lang mo. Ay, sorry. Amo na ikon dere. Ay Filipino lang makaron. Kapay kayo. Ito ko mag-explain. Sige. Under this contract, you have to agree with your client all the responsibilities and what works to be you need to execute. Na then you agree what's the fixed price for all the works that you need to execute. Okay, so let's go to an example on it. So for example, this one, subject proposal, structural analysis and design of proposed restaurant project located in Cagayan de Oro City. So wala ako nang idanggal ang mga specifics, no. So for this project, I would like to give my best offer for the subject above in the amount of 65,000 pesos. Mura siya, there's that understanding that me as a consultant, I need to analyze and design a proposed restaurant project, and whatever that entails, no. Basta kay maka-produce ko or maka-analyze ko and maka-produce ko og isa ka restaurant, then that will be it. You are going to pay me 65,000. Of course, there are more napagyapo yung mga terms and agreements, no. Like my timetable would be 1 month, and you're gonna have to pay me the full amount upon completion of the analysis and the design na mga inana nga mga things. Pero inani ang lump sum contract. Fixed amount for doing or executing a work. Okay. Next is we have a unit price contract. It is a variation of a lump sum contract. Very similar. The lump sum and unit price contract is very similar lang. The contrast or the difference is there is a measurement, no? It can be in length or in volume. Okay. All right. In horizontal construction, concreting. Oh, there's an example there, no? Ano na lang. Okay. Kini ato ang example. An example. Painting works. Oh, nasayop ko. Kilograms. It's not kilograms. Dapat square meters na siya, no? Square meters. So, I am required to paint 1,047 square meters of I need to do worth of 1,047 square meters of painting works, no. Kinahanglan ko mamintal og 1,047 square meters. So for the detailed estimates, no, mura siya og kanang agreement lang with my client that I am going to use the following materials, no. Murag ibutang lang nako siya dere. And the labor, the workers that I am going to assign, the kind of workers I'm going to assign. First is the foreman, responsible for managing the works, no, the painter and the assistant painter, and the equipment cost, etc. In this estimate also, I indicated my OCM, profit, and VAT, no, and total cost. I have the total cost, the running total cost, and then unit cost. Ano unit cost man eh? This is supposed to be unit cost, no? So meaning, gibuhat na ko ana dayon is 436,025.63 divided by 147. Okay, so I divided the total item cost by the quantity of the quantity sa akong works to be executed. Okay, so that is this is wagi lagi. Gagi. Okay, so that is 436,025 pesos and 63 cents divided by 1,047 square meters. Then I have a unit cost of 416.45 pesos per square meter. Meaning, medyo magamit na siya dito sa payment or sa arrangement sa imong client, no? So pwede na imong ipapakyaw. So for example, with this, no, using this one, pwede ko maingon niya, pwede ko mag-bill ko per square meter sa imuha ha. And if in a day, if I painted 100 square meters worth, 100 square meters of painting works, then I multiply that by 416. Then in that day alone, pwede ko mag-bill og 400. Sorry. Pwede ko mag-bill na dayon og around 40,000, no, in that day alone. So na siya sa billing process. And pwede pa siya magamit ang imong unit cost contract if ever there is a deviation for differences, mga small differences. For example, ako ani siyang gi-provide nga details sa ako ang client, ano, then sa the actual is around 500 square meters lang, no, murag na sayo pag estimate instead of 1,000 square meters, sa actual 500 square meters lang. So instead nga mag-estimate ka balik, pwede na din mo gamiton ang imong unit cost. So 416 times 500 square meters, then mao na ang imong bag-o dayon nga contract cost, no? Or pwede sad nga your giganahan nimong client or their client like the job that you did, no? Then nasa mga additional purposes also. Let's say pintalisad ang ang exterior nga wall na apay there's around 1,000 square meters dito sa likod. So instead of giving another set of estimate, pwede na nimo gamitan ang unit cost para diretso-diretso na lang. Okay, that's contract unit cost. So usually lump sum and unit cost contract, typical sa tuwang practice that is a local na setup or sa mga not so big pang mga company or mga government agency, no, mga not so big pang mga contract, pero significant na gyapon. Okay. Pwede sa din siya ma-use for earthwork. What is earthwork? Meaning kana mga excavation work, no? So where there is dili ginato ma-accurately estimate kung pila ka cubic meter ang atuwang excavate kay basin pag abot ani nga level, no, maka-encounter na ta og mga stones, in which case there should be nanapoy lahi nga unit cost per cubic meter kung maka-encounter ta og stones. Kung soil lang ordinary, medyo dali ra kayo siya nimo excavate, di ba? Pero kung stones na ang atuang istoryahan, medyo bugat na pud siya. More difficulty in excavating stones compared to the ordinary soil. So what we're going to do is from previous projects or from our previous projects, we can come up with a unit price for excavation work considering ordinary soil, or we can come up with a unit price for per cubic meter considering that it is made of boulders or cobbles, no, mga inana. So that we can pwede na to pud siya nga madali na lang atuang works for computing the contract, okay? Or kung wala man ganito nag-compute, pwede ta maka-bill diretso. Nakahakot na ko for example og isa ka 20 cubic meter nga truck, ano? So pwede na to nako i-bill. And katong sulod atong nga truck is more on boulders. So kini akong i-bill sa imo, ha. Okay, the basics. We also have the cost plus contract. Okay, so for cost plus contracts, pag there is kind of an urgency in the construction. So naa siya kana usually during emergencies, no? So for example, there was a construction of an isolation building. Kalimot ko asa to dapat. Opol man siguro to. Opol or Initaw. Kalimot na ko asa to. Basta kay wala pa nila nahuman. They weren't able to complete the building plans yet. Pero they have to start now with the groundworks or the site development. Okay, medyo puno raman to siya sa mga grassland man to siya with several mga coconut trees. So, ilang gibuhat ato is gi-award na daan sa isa ka contractor, no? Nag-work na daan ng contractor for the site development. Then when the building plans were completed, nagsabot na lang din po sila sa additional na contract. Nag-add na lang din sila og new contract na lang dayon to the existing one. So for this type of contract, usually the contractor finances labor and the materials for a certain civil works. Okay, then mag-submit lang dayon og billing submit lang dayon og billing ka sa contractor. Okay? Pero this entails a very deep of kanang murag trust sa imong client, and ikaw pod as client dapat na confident gyud mo ka mga makapay ka to whatever the cost that would entail sa imong construction, no? Pero there is a siya. Say arrange naman lang ni. Arrange. So, kana cost plus contract. Okay. So, of course, no, even though mag-una-una ka, maskin wala pa'y mga plans, there still have to be an agreement. Pwede gyapon niya agree mo that the contractor will gain a fixed amount of profits, or there is a fixed amount of profit. Could be percentage or could be incentive amount, no? Pwede mo mengon niya, you will get 10% of whatever the cost, no? You just show us, you just take into account all the materials and all the labor capital that you have poured into this project sa mga nana. Cost plus. Next is turnkey. Okay. So for turnkey, usually makita nato ni siya sa mga industrial. So what happens here is an industry or a company, they have kabalo na sila unsa ilang gusto, no? Kabalo na sila unsa ilahang what's the use case for this for the kind of project that they want to build. Okay. Then they're going to call several contractors. I-discuss nila yun sa ilahang gusto. Then ikaw as contractor, ikaw na bahala kung unsaon nimo pag-address tanan nila gusto nga naa sa imong tanan nga na unsaon nimo pag-provide sa katong tanan nga gusto ma-appeal sa imong client. Okay? Okay. So usually makita nato ni siya sa industry because wala gusto sila nga although they know what they want, pero gusto gyapon sila nga wala sila liability kung whatever happens to the building or the structure that's going to be constructed. Okay, so my experience with this is with Stayag. They wanted to build a storage facility, a chemical and lubricants storage facility. So they ilaha lang gi-define unsa nga mga parts or unsa nga mga machine, unsa nga mga structure ang kinahanglan naa sa isa ka storage facility. Dayon sa contractor dayon nga side, kami na dayon bahala unsaon to pag-design or unsay mga itsura ato nga mga facility ang ibutang sa storage nila. Okay? So balik din mi dito dayon sa company dayon, present na mo unsa mo ang nabuhat dayon i-approve din nila. Kana siya. Sa example. Wala example. Okay. So for turnkey projects, ikaw na din bahala tanan, ikaw bahala finance, ikaw bahala kanang kuha sa tanan permits. Okay? Permits sa mga equipments imong kinahanglan i-provide, no? So basically from scratch to finish ikaw ang magbuot. Then when everything is running, when everything is okay, you turn over the key to your client, then sila na din mag-continue ato. Okay? All right. So next, we have build, operate, and transfer. So when the government has an infrastructure that it wants to put up but does not have money to finance, then they offer the project to interested bidders. The interested bidders submit a bid for the project to the government. If there are no other bidders, then the project is awarded to the bidder. However, if there is another bidder, then the project is subjected to a Swiss challenge. Okay. So ito first, naay gusto ng project ang government, pero they are unable to finance it. So they find private na mga bidders to build the project for them. Then after that one, sige. Example sa Cloveria. So they are kanang arranging pa. They're arranging mura og kalimot ko sa iyang term ha. Pero mura siya og park, a huge park with several accommodations, hotel accommodations, with a view, restaurants. Mura siya og murag business center. Business center. They want to develop a business center there sa Claveria nga area, Claveria Hingoog. Pero they only have the lands, no? Nalang sila yuta. Pero wala sila financial capacity to finance that big of a project. So what they're going to do is they're going to construct a master plan, no? At least mo pa nilang ilang ginestoryahan, mo pa nilang ideas. They're going to construct a master plan, like daring aside dari ang mga hotels, daring aside dari ang mga restaurant, and daring aside dari ang mga pwede mga park or mga adventures na pwede buhaton. So what they're going to do is they're going to BOT, they're going to build, operate, transfer certain portions of the lands that they have. So kung ikaw interested ka, pwede kang sige, palit ko ani nga yuta dapit. Then ako kung makapalit ko ato nga yuta, ako ato siyang mag-build ko ato. For example, naka-assign na to nga yuta is what's assigned in that portion of land is a hotel, no? Then I need to build a hotel in that portion. And after building a hotel in that portion, tagaan din ko, or I'm gonna have years to operate the hotel. So na ako own ako nga na term or na duration for me to operate the hotel, let's say 10 years. So for 10 years, I'm going to operate that hotel anang portion sa land. Dayon, after 10 years, expecting na nakabawi nako or nakatook profit nako sa ako ang pag-build anang area, no? Then I'm going to transfer that back to the government. So everything na din, the land, the hotel, everything, I'm going to lose na dayon mawala na sa kuha ang managerial na or ang ownership gid ana totally sa ako ang land o sa ako ang hotel nga gi-build, mabalik na dito sa government. Okay, so that is BOT. Kato pong, I believe katong airport nga gina-build karon sa San Miguel Corporation. I think it is a BOT nga project. Dili lang ko sure ha. I kindly check na lang. So murag na ay parts ato or na ay portion, na ay percentage nga ang San Miguel mo mag-operate. Then after pila ka years then aya pa din nila transfer back to the government ang whole operation sa airport. Lamit ko sa tong project nila. Okay, so murag na. Pero no, usually ani for the BOT project, usually the private sectors ang recommend sa government. So private sectors, they get na the vision of what they can do to a place. Then they propose it to the government. Then what's the government? The government is gonna issue a public announcement lang dayon nga we intend to do this project. We intend to do this project. We intend to build an airport. So after that one, there will be a project. There ma-publicize na ang ato ang project. So dara dayon kung ikaw isa gyapon ka kadako nga entity unya you think that you can afford to finance that airport ka project dayon katong original nga nag-suggest, so meaning duha na mo kabo karon prospective nga bidder, dara dayon mahimo ang Swiss challenge. So sa Swiss nga challenge mura mo kung duha mo kabo company mura mo og gapasikatay kung unsay pwede ninyo ma-offer for the government. So that's the Swiss challenge. Okay. So example nga na-build na that I'm sure of is the expressways dito sa Luzon, the NLEX and the SLEX. Okay. That is Swiss challenge. So last for the type of contract is 12:30. So last kind of contract, although this is not formally this is not accepted by the government that this is a subcontract. The term in the sa government sector is this is joint venture. So the point lang daw sa government is kung ikaw ang nagbid, dili pwede nga imong ihatag ang kontrata sa uban. Pero pwede ka mag joint venture to another contractor para na percentage nga inyo ang i-share. Marag mag-share mo sa percentage sa work. Dili gid totally nga imong ipa subcontract or na kay tawgon. I mean, the point here is dapat dili ka mo enter into a contract with the government if you don't have the capacity. So murag mo man yung subcontract, murag imo siyang ginapa subcontract, eh dili ka kabaloon sa pagbuhatan ng trabaho. So the term for the government, they want to call it joint venture. So meaning you're going to control a certain percentage pagyapon sa work, although nanay parties nga involved sa imong contract nga imong gibid sa ilaha. So that is joint venture for them. For private sectors, private companies, okay ra ang subcontract. Pero nagyapoy times nga dili pwede ang mga subcontract. Sige, let's discuss. So for this one, required nga na general contractor, meaning siya ang bossing sa tanan. Part of the works may be subcontracted, especially to specialty contractors. So naalangi portions nga pwede nimo ihatag sa uban na mga contractors. So mo nang gitawag siya subcontract. Although you need to remember that para maka-avail ka og subcontract, kinahanglan it is allowed under your contract agreement. Dapat allowed siya between you and the party or sa imong client. So man na imong subcontract. Next is the subcontract is experience on his particular line. Of course, so ay ara ka mag-hire. I-hire lang nimo ang isa ka contractor tungod kay experience na siya sa iyang line. Kabalo na siya sa iyang buhaton. Next is it can also be a cost plus an incentive amount, Pwede nimo siya subcontract, ipapakyaw nimo sa iya, tagaan lang din nimo siya og monetary reward for that one. And next is last thing that you need to remember is that the workmanship is still the responsibility of the general contractor. So although gipa-subcontract na nimo siya, ikaw gyapon, the general contractor is still answerable to the quality of work sa iyang client. Okay? So that is subcontract. Klaro? Asaan ni nga types? Question. Ay asaan ni nga type sa contract kaya do you think is pinaka-complicated? sa practice. Yeah, I like that. You're thinking. Asa ka ni? Pinaka-complicated. Feel lang ninyo. No, kan. Balik ka. Okay, na raw. Asaan nga types of contract ang pinaka-complicated ka?
BOT, sir.
BOT ba? Parang BOT. Yeah, feel ba na ako BOT? So, ban, ansa ka feeling niya? Saan yung feeling?
Sir.
Same, no? BOT. Dapat na kay... As in requirements, I think, kinanglan na kay right connections, money, time, energy para makig-negotiate sa government ng mga agencies. So, I think so. Pinaka-easy nga type sa contract. Pwede ni masudlan.
Lump sum, sir.
Lump sum. Yeah. No. Wala kayo ikuan. What else? Para sa uban, sa pinaka-easy.
Turnkey, sir.
Turnkey. Okay. Sa turnkey, ikaw mag-design. Pwede gyapon, no? Kay in that sense, ikaw ang mag-design, ikaw pud ang mag-build. So kabalo na ka unsang imo ang i-build. Kay ikaw gud nag-design. Nice. Okay. Subcontract, nice yaman na subcontract. So for subcontract, kurag i-hire na lang bitaw ka for a specific thing. No, na-identify na unsay mo kinahanglan buhaton o unsay mo kinahanglan ko anon. Kurag medyo small scale lang ang subcontract. So okay yaman ang subcontract. Nalang ka diya for a specific thing. Okay. Okay pa mo? Gutom na mo? Gutom side ko.
Sir, ang say Swiss challenge.
Swiss challenge, kita bitong katong sa BOT man ano? Sa BOT. Sa BOT, pwede na ay kay usually magud for BOT nanay napilian nga contractor, nanay napilian nga company nga maoy mo build, maoy mo operate, maoy mo transfer. Parang decided na siya daan ba. Pero para fair pod sa tanan, i-publicly announce gyapon nga naani nga project. Then kung ikaw isa ka another company or isa ka contractor nga interested yapon ana nga project, pwede nimo i-Swiss challenge katong contractor, katong company nga nakauna na sa imuha. Mura mo og magpasikatay din mo dayon kung unsay pwede nimo ma-offer sa government or pwede nimo ma-offer sa imong client. So instead nga 10 years ang imuhang instead of 10 years ang imong period of time nga ikaw ang mag-operate, pwede ka mo-offer na 5 years ra akong time to operate that structure. Ako na ding iuli sa imuha. Siyempre, ang imong client, oy ganahan ni nung 5 years naman ni gusto niya iuli naman din niya after 5 years. Okay na. Mo na Swiss challenge. Para na sila o gapanguyab dayon sa client, duwa na sila. Mga things na pwede nila ma-offer. Okay? Questions, other questions.
Sir,
Gamay na lang.
Unsa tong OCM, sir?
OCM is overhead, contingencies, and miscellaneous.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
So for overhead, alam mo to, asan na nina ako nga subject we discuss ang OCM, ha? Dili sa inyo. Dili, strength man to material. Pero your OCM, sa Kwanday building estimates, kana estimates. Sa estimates, ito na ako gihatag. OCM is overhead. For example, mga mangutang ka sa bank. Example, mangutang ka sa bank. Dayon naman gina sila interest, no? Pwede ka moingon nga katong interest i-additional nimo dito sa project pero dili na kayo nimo siya ipahalata nga mangutang ka. Dito din nimo siya ibutang sa OCM. Kaya murag tulo man na sila ka level, overhead, contingencies, miscellaneous. So ang imong overhead kay unsa tong mga other things na kinahanglan nimo bayaran aside sa pag-execute sa project. For the contingency is just in case just in case ni saka kalit ang mga pamaliton, then nakay contingency na amount para para ma-accommodate na, no? Then miscellaneous is other things na imo ang kinahanglan pa nimo pambayaran. Sa mga politician nga kinahanglan nimo bayaran, so dara nimo pang kuan. Okay, so OCM. Usually sa government project, OCM dito na padulong sa mga corrupt nga mga officials. That is around 10 to 15%, so muna lang kuan, di ba? Basahin niyo na to. OCM, 15%. So the thinking of the corrupt politician here is mag-OCM ba man ka nga maayo naman kay ka mo estimate. Pero sa under the law, OCM is okay, no? Na provision sa law nga pwede ka mag-OCM. Pwede ka mag-OCM depende sa project, 8% to around something a percentage. So para makasulod din ka sa bidding, maingon din ang politician sa imo nga dili na ka kinahanglan og OCM, yatag na lang sa mong OCM. Kay maayo naman ka mo kuan. So usually tanan na OCM dito mong padulong sa mga corrupt politicians. Okay? So mana dara sa kuan mga government agencies na to. So I'm hoping also na if ever may mo mga nimong politician bukon, ayos sa ninyo pangayo ang 15% nga kuan ay. If ever man gani magamyan ninyo ang OCM. Record, I mean, legal siya in terms sa balaod nato. No, it is a legal kuan nga mangayo kag OCM. So kana siya. So kamo na mga politician pohon, you ask for a minimum na OCM instead of 15%, 3% na lang niya ang atong OCM. Eh dili man, of course, kinahanglan ka mangayo gyapon ng OCM kay dili man ma-happy tanan people sa imo kung dili ka mag-share. Okay. Pero at least ma-minimize ang tani mo. I think mao ni ang gabuhaton ni Vic Soto, the mayor. Nang murag yang ginapalesan ang OCM. Manang proud gyud siya nga nakasave ang iyang city og pila ka millions by minimizing OCM. Dili mo kundi kinahanglan gud, dili man necessary nga makatagi ka sa mga kuan. So siguro sa iyang kuan na medyo minimal na lang kaayo. Check yan ni Vic Soto, pila to ka millions yang na-save. Naka-save siya tungod kay grabe nga maayo nga pag-estimate og murag ginalesson gyud na iyang OCM. So very nice na practice. I hope inanayapon mo. Ano? Ako wala ko ikuan. Try gyapon na nako. Wala ta kabalo basin din ay gusto mag-enter into politics sa inyo ha. All right, general bidding process. There's two general bidding process, the right way and the wrong way. Now, nakalimot kog ingon sa wrong way sa other nga section. Sayang kayo. I'll tell you both no sa mga right and wrong na mga general bidding process. So start ta sa boring one. Now this is the right way to general bidding process, and that is of course pre-engineering preparation of plans. Gutom na ako, kabulol na ako. Pre-engineering preparation of plans, specs, dayon after that one. Now dari na to ma-determine kung unsa mga needs sa tong client, no unsa yang gusto i-build, how unsaon gusto niya nga ma-build na siya, no. So for client handling, kamo ba ta ko naingon sa for client handling or sa EB3 to? Pila ko sa EB3 to. Na unsaon pag-handle sa client. Sige lang, ako na lang balikon gamay no. So how I handle client, especially ani nga mga portions sa pre-engineering and preparation pa lang sa plans is that gina-guide din ako sila unsa gyud nila gusto ma-achieve. Dili kayo ko ga-impose sa unsa akong gusto kay kuan. Karon gamay kayo ang conflict no. The more nga ang client may gaistorya, the more nga murag wala kayo murag easy going lang kayo ang imong kuan. Pero as a professional, you control where the flow is going lang dayon, no. So example, no, for analogy dere, let's use na lang the boyfriend girlfriend na analogy. So usually joke lang girls, ay lang bas ma-offend ang girls, no, depende sa inyong point of view. Night times nga na isa sa inyong partner is undecided kung asa mo kaon, di ba, sa kuan, undecided asa mo kaon. So pwede na ninyo yung button na is apply din ninyo sa client handling ha. Sin boyfriend girlfriend na ba niyo ma-pick up ani. Okay. So button na is first question that you need to answer is, are you hungry? No. Murag nana, are you hungry? Then if the answer is yes, then pwede din ka mag-ask og question na sa dayon. Then if you're hungry, then what do you want to eat? Do you want to eat unsa klase nga kuan imong gusto ka nun? Gusto ba ka og vegetable, gusto ba ka og pork, gusto ba ka og chicken, gusto ba ka og other kinds of meat, no? And after ana, and kung may maka-decide na siya kung unsa klase yung gusto ka nun, then pwede na po din ka mo ask nga how do you want it cooked, no? Gusto ba ka og tola, gusto ba ka og grill, gusto ba ka og adobo, whatever, inana. And after that one, dapat pinaka-importante po, istoryan niyo po ninyo pila man imong budget o kinsa mo bayad. No, ikaw ang bayad, very good, nice na siya. So inana. I-apply lang din ninyo sa client handling, no? Usually kung i-impose kini mo imong self kay kung i-impose kini mo imong self, medyo mo atras ang imong client. Samok ba ni nga engineer. Sige magsamok-samok sa ako di man makahulat. Ano? Ana ginana. No. Okay. So that's pre-engineering, preparation of plans and specifications. And after that one, you invite contractors to bid. Invite contractors to bid. Then, of course, before nimo sila nga i-consider yun, they need to submit first their licenses, track record, list of equipment, list of personnel, financial statements, and finances. Na. So, mura ka ga-invite sa mga contractors nga mo court sa imuha din mo pasikat din sila kung sa ilang mga nabuhat. Okay? Then after that one, selection of qualified bidders based on the documents and verifications of documents submitted, no? So, akong experience na kay mag-submit sila og mga kuan nila, then tawagan ako sila dayon. Is there story me with the owner. Na yung mga owner dayon, yung mga atatod kayo. So, mga minus points dayon. So, kung ikaw ma-assign ani sa mga inana, tawagan nimo sila, ask nimo sila, sir, nganong na-expire na nimo ang license, napakaikuan. Mga things lang gud yung mga basic things nganong wala nila nabuhat or mga inana. Para murag ila-ilahon lang nimo gamay. Okay. After one, asan na ako one? After that one, there will be a pre-bidding conference. Then sa pre-bidding conference, pwede gyapon nga mauna ang release of plans and specifications to those contractors bitaw nga makapasar sa imong first nga screening. So kung makapasar sila, pwede na din ka dito sa pre-bidding conference. There is a pre-bidding conference, dere mahitabo na i-discuss balik ang plans and specifications, the general rules, conditions to be followed unsa mga bid forms and the deadline. Pero usually, there is a pre-bidding conference, dari dapat ma-address ang mga concerns sa contractor. So, sila sa mga contractor, ilahan na yun they review the plans, they review the specifications. So, if ever na sila yung mga questions, dari i-address. Sa pre-bidding conference pod, you're going to do site visits, no? The contractors is allowed to visit the site. So, if there is kung na sila concern, so dari nila pwede ipangutaan na sa consultant and sa client. Ano? So usually kasagaran nila concern sa site is naabay tubig, naabay kuryente, is there storage portion, or is there an access way for their dump trucks and excavators to go in, no? Sa mga securities nga naay kuan, check lang na nila nga mga things. Then if there are nearby buildings on sa mga protections that they need to employ in order to protect the adjacent buildings or the nearby buildings, panganan ng mga things. Then these things, all these concerns is going to be written in or not really written, or going to be compiled in what we call a bid bulletin. No, I'm sure one of you here is gonna hear this pag mag-practice na mo, what we call a bid bulletin. Sa bid bulletin is dari nakabutang tanan concerns and yun sa pag-address sa client or sa kuan and sa consultant. All right. Then as a consultant or as a professional, your work is to make sure that tanan contractors nga nag-appeal sa pre-bid conference is makadawat sila atong mga bid bulletin. Syempre manguli naman manguli sahay. Then si contractor A na ipangutana, "Oy sir, nakalimot kog kuan nato ba? Wala man din nato na istoryahan ba?" So kato siya ibutang sa bid bulletin. Bid bulletin mo siya o Google Drive nga katanan contractor maka-access sa tong drive. Pero ang ilang lang ma-access is tanan questions and tanan concerns and tanan giun sa pag-address or unsa yung mga answer ato sa ilang mga concerns and questions mo na imong bid bulletin. Okay? And pag okay na tanan, dropping of bids na dayon ka. Dropping of bids, and after a one, pag maka-schedule na, opening of bids. So select dayon sa consultant and sa owner kung kinsa makadaog. Okay? Under government contracts, they follow a system under Procurement Act, especially in choosing the winning bidder. So as a contractor, kung ikaw nag-appeal sa bidding, it's very important to review kung sa imong gibutang sa imong bid, no? You make sure na lang, you make sure that all the requirements required in your bidding document is in there, no? Ibutang man nimo sa isa ka envelope, imo da yung i-seal. No? You make sure that tanan required yung documents is in there. No? To be honest with you, I've been disqualified twice already in bidding bidding akong ipang-apilan. I've been disqualified twice. No, I missed first na kung na-miss is construction contract sa previous na project. No, so na-miss na ko siya. So very early kaya pag ma-disqualify ka dara sa construction contracts pa lang sa previous project. Very early pa kayo na, murag 10% pa na sa opening sa bid nga process, na disqualify na kayo, pinaka na disqualify, ulo kayo. Wala mong wala, okay na mga yapan. Madento dayon nga. Next nga ako nga disqualification kay kwan. Wala dito na disqualify din, na pili lang to. Napili lang to kay naay mas kwan. Sa government kay dili ko kasabot sa ila, usay kay pinakabarato. Sa iPod kay basta na sila yung na-consider. So atong times ako kay dili ako ang pinaka-lowest nga bidder. Okay, so that's for opening of bids. Very important that you check everything what is required. Okay, and award to the winning bidder, preparation of contract. There is a preparation of contract. We send the winning bidder period of completion, katong tanan contract, no? Notice of award, notice to proceed, na there is a preparation of contract or after preparation of contract. Okay, and then signing of contract documents. Okay, the plans, everything, minutes of the pre-bidding conference, no? So sa minutes of the pre-bidding conference, ma-appeal pag sign dari kato mga bid bulletin. No? So murag imo lang yung i-make sure nga na review nimo tanan. After signing, a notice to proceed is issued. Okay. So preparation award to the winning bidder. There is award to the winning bidder. Atagan ka og notice of award. And after that one, preparation of contract, mag-signing mo. Then after contract, taganan ka og notice to proceed. No? So usually, after 3 days of signing, dapat na din ka sa site or earlier. No? Depende sa sabot sa client. So that's it for the right way to be a general bidding process. Sa wrong way sa general bidding process, I'm going to tell you, ayaw ko sumbong sa din, ha? Okay. What's difference lang? The difference lang is nice step 0. Nice step 0. And that step 0 is you find a friend sa government na agency. Find a friend sa government na agency is going to get all your pre-qualification requirements, etc. They're going to check it. Then they're going to assign the project that you're going to bid on. So you're not going to select the project that you're going to bid on. No, they're going to select for you. Ikaw, ani. All right. Then after that one, you're going to go to an office. No, depende, mag-vary. They're going to give you the plans, the specifications. Wala pa nigi-announce nga na bidding o na nakay plans and specifications. Okay? Then pre-bidding conference. Then sa pre-bidding conference, instead of several contractors present, you're the only one present. Because they're going to scare off other contractors. So what they're going to do here sa pre-bid conference is they're going to schedule pre-bid conference. Let's say see you at 2 p.m. No, but their time is earlier than that. 2:45 nagsugod na ang 1:45 or 1:30 nagsugod na ang pre-bidding conference. Alas 2 na human ang pre-bid conference. So kung ikaw regular ka nga tao, naka-regular nga watch sa imo ha, maabot ka dito alas 2, hinundan ka nila dahil nga human naman ang pre-bid conference, sir. Attend na lang ka sa kuan. Adto na lang ka sa office kay mangayo ka og minutes of the meeting, no? And of course, they're not going to give you the minutes of the meeting. Okay? So that's a pre-bid conference for the wrong way of doing the general bidding process. And after that one, instead of sa pre-bidding conference, instead of discussing the nature of the project, the pre-bid conference siya ang ga-handle sa pre-bid conference. Instead of him discussing all the natures of the project, no, he's going to ask you if you have any questions, no, if do you understand all the arrangements, mga inana. Okay, and that is a pre-bidding conference. They're also going to order you to find another bidder for that project, no. Mangita ka og laing bidder nga moapila na nga project para mahimong valid ang project, meaning there has sahay man good, especially today, there has to be 2 or more bidders. So ikaw mangita daw ko ka og bidders nga bidder nga mo sa tawagan na sa inyo ha, nang murag for formality lang bitaw. Then kana nga bidder, kana ikaduha nga bidder, either mapa-disqualify siya or mapapildi siya. Tuyoon niya nga mapapildi siya. That's for the so dropping of bids, and pag opening of bids, of course disqualified ang isa, ikaw daog ka, then balik na din back to normal na yan. Award, preparation of contract, notice to proceed. Okay, dili pa tayo back na normal. For the contract, di ba dari kay lain man siya nga step. Notice of award number 9, preparation of contract number 10, then notice to proceed. Before ka makago sa number 10, dapat sa number 9 saka. Before ka makato sa 11, number 10 saka. So what they're going to do is nakausan ni tanan. They're going to receive the notice of award, the contract, and the notice to proceed. Diretso, dungan sila tulo, no? Then you're going to sign everything. And then after that one, you cannot fill up the date sa box bitaw, sa date. Dili mo pwede sulatan kung kanos ani mo na receive ang award, contract o ang proceed. Kay delayed naman sila. No, late naman kasi sila sa ilang gamang buhaton. Instead nga after 1 week unta makahatag na sila og notice of award, after 2 months pa man sila nakahatag sa imuha. So ikaw daw ayaw daw kuno nasulat kasi sila ra magsulat. So ilangan nang ibalik atong date nga dili pa sila delayed, no? Ang office nila dili pa delayed. So ikaw, although na receive nimo ang imuhang notice to proceed 2 months after after na daog nimo, late na ka sa imong construction time, o late na ka og around 1 month or 6 weeks. So kanang 6 weeks dapat imo na lang apason dito going forward. Kaya pason na nimo dito going forward. No? So now you see how dirty our kuan right now, no? So mga inana nga mga things. So the challenge for you aspiring kuan is to kind of dapat ma-change ninyo nga mga things, no? Pohon. You're going to see this one, no? Dapat aware na mo ani. When you see this one, you get by that time na you see this practice, you get to decide na what you're going to do. No, you have plenty of time to think what you're going to do. Okay. In my side, I make sure I select those contractors who has the ability to kanang accomplish the project 100% on time and quality. No, on time and quality. And yeah, in our construction company, that's what we are trying to provide. On time and on quality na service, especially for the government. Although with all the binuang nga ilang gabuhaton. That's what we are trying to do. Medyo lisod siya, medyo challenging, you know. Makaulit. Pero I hope if you enter to this kind of contracts, you do the job, no, the right way. One. There's no problem magid sa kanang competitive nga bidding bitaw. So I can say there's no problem sa competitive nga bidding. The problem lang yun, I think, is the politicians. You know, parang, I'm not going to, dili na ako I'm not trying to change your man, pero akong gabuhaton karon is medyo dili na kay ko leaning towards mga traditional na mga politicians. Kaya usually mo ilang gabuhaton kay mas galing ko towards kini mga bago. Kasi man napay hope. Basin sa inyo po kon arang-arang na in the way you handle things sa inyong mga constituents. Medyo lisod kayo karon. Okay? Questions? Yeah. That part sa ang discussion, you stays here in the meet, ha? You don't say that to anyone. Kamo na bala sa inyong knowledge. You didn't hear it from me. Okay? Okay. So that's it. My hopes for you lang yun. My hopes for you is first, sa inyong clients, no? You avoid conflict with your clients as much as possible. You lay everything na kanang i-plaster ginin niya tanan, no? In a very effective, very complete, very tanan ninyo kanang perfect nga way nga pag-layout for your client para maka-avoid mo og conflict. And sa government nga side, kung kamo ang contractor, you provide a quality and on-time service, and if ever man gani ma-politician mo pohon, you please try to change the system, no? And if ever makatrabaho man gani mo dito sa mga government nga agencies, please lang ayaw kayo mo pagdawat ng mga ihatag-hatag sa contractor ng mga monetary na mga amount, monetary nga mga kuan ihatag-hatag nila sa envelope. I'm sure although dili tanan sa to dali sa piya na kaya, pero we can always makakuha ta perminti o kanang kwarta from the right way. Okay? So, questions? Yeah. I'm sharing this to you. Kay ako man lang ipawid sa silos. Ngayon bitaw ko di ko mawawid sa silos na kay tuluan ta mo mga ko na ilang ipawid danawan na ni karon. Sige. Questions? Kung wala na may questions, please wait lang mo gamay. I'm going to post the quiz regarding katong topic na atong na-discuss last meeting. Very quick lang. 10 items, multiple choice. Okay? Alati lang niyo gamay. Ako i-post. Ready naman to. I-post na lang. So, okay. Thank you very much for joining this afternoon.